Chapter 2, Blast Off. Actually, they didn't peer into the cupboard. They peered down the cupboard because it was not really a cupboard at all. It was a laundry chute. The chute went all the way down from the bedroom to the laundry room, 2 stories below. Down, down, down it went, and halfway down they saw something strange. It was a pair of tennis shoes. Perhaps a pair of tennis shoes wouldn't be too strange a thing to find in the laundry chute, except that attached to those tennis shoes was a pair of legs. "Sloan," Drake hollered down the chute, his voice echoing. "Sloan, is that you?" "Who else would it be?" a voice screeched. "The mayor or maybe the president of the United States?" "Yeah, that's right, the president. I'm going to give a speech to my dirty underwear." Drake closed the cupboard doors and looked at Nell. "It's her, all right." "How did she call you if she's stuck in the laundry chute?" asked Nell. "That's just it," explained Drake. "She was cleaning her room and accidentally threw her cell phone down the chute along with some dirty clothes. When she lunged after the phone, she fell in. The good news is she called her cell phone. The bad news is she's been stuck upside down ever since her mom went to work this afternoon." "Why didn't Sloan call 911? "She told me she'd be grounded and lose her allowance," answered Drake. He decided not to mention that Sloan had also told him to stop asking her so many questions and that she had called him a pencil-pocket, geek-breath scientist with a brain no bigger than an atom. "So what's the plan?" asked Nell. Drake scratched his head, baffled. "We must return to the lab for analysis." "Check." Wanting to avoid further insults, they hurried to the lab before giving Sloan a quick phone call to tell her that they had left. You call her," said Drake, handing the phone to Nell. She dialed the number. As soon as Sloan answered, Nell said as fast as she could, "We'll be back in a half hour, bye," and hung up. "Okay," she said to Drake, "down to business." Drake pulled a book off the shelf. Together they thumbed through to find the right section. Laundry chute extraction. What to do when someone is stuck and they're being quite rude. Nell read the section aloud and Drake took notes. A little later, Drake's mom opened the attic door and peeked in. "Hot chocolate, anyone? Juice? Muffins?" Whenever Kate Doyle offered muffins, it was best to say yes, because her muffins were delicious. In fact, Mrs. Doyle owned a catering company and was a fine person to have nearby, especially if you became hungry or thirsty. "Muffins, if you please," said Drake politely. "Affirmative," replied Mrs. Doyle. "Coffee," said Nell. "Decaf, black." Real scientists don't drink hot chocolate. They prefer coffee, decaf, black. "Check," said Mrs. Doyle, returning just 15 and a half seconds later with their order. She must have known they were in the middle of a laundry chute extraction emergency and had the muffins and coffee standing by ready to go. Nell took a sip of coffee and then phoned her mother. "Won't be home until later," Nell told her. "Much later. Laundry chute extraction emergency, you know." Nell wasn't a bit surprised when Professor Fossey replied, "I understand, my dear. Do what you think is best." You see, Nell was a lucky scientist because her mother was also a scientist. Ann Fossey taught wildlife biology at Mossy Lake University, so she understood perfectly about scientific emergencies and not being home until later. 20 minutes after that, Drake and Nell stood outside on the sidewalk, ready. Their bikes were loaded with the necessary supplies. Just then, Drake's dad, Sam Doyle, drove into the driveway. Like Mrs. Doyle, Mr. Doyle was pretty handy to have around. He was great for giving rides and good conversation. Not only that, but he owned his own company, too. Doyle Scientific Equipment and Supply Company. He provided everything Drake and Nell needed for a well-equipped lab. Pencils, test tubes, computers, glassware, and, of course, lab coats with their names on them. "Going somewhere?" he asked Mr. Doyle. "We're on a case," said Drake and Nell together. "Need a ride?" "Thanks just the same, Mr. Doyle, but we've got it covered," Nell replied. Then Mr. Doyle took a long look at the items on their bikes and said, "Whatever you do, don't blow anything up." Drake and Nell looked at each other because, you see, that's exactly what they had planned to do. All in the name of science, of course. "Thanks for the advice, Mr. Doyle," said Nell quickly, "but our client is waiting." "Bye, Dad," called Drake over his shoulder, and off they went, riding like the wind. When they arrived at Sloan's house, they immediately got to work. Drake lugged all the supplies upstairs to Sloan's room while Nell went down the dusty basement steps to prepare the laundry room. Nell gathered the dirty clothes into a huge pile. She added a bunch of pillows and sofa cushions just to be on the safe side. Meanwhile, Sloan's voice blasted through the laundry chute. "What's going on out there? I demand you tell me. If you don't get me out of here in 2 seconds, I'm calling my lawyer. Pause. "Okay, that's it. I've had it with you people. I'm dialing. Beep, beep, boop, boop." bop. Beep, bop. Did you hear that? Sloan screeched. Huh? Did you hear that? I dialed, and it's ringing. Their preparations complete, Drake and Nell stood together next to the laundry chute in Sloan's room. Ready? Drake asked. Nell nodded. All set in the laundry room, the pile is 8 feet high with a diameter of 12 feet. Good work, scientists. Now let us begin. Agreed, Detective Doyle, before she sews our socks off. Check, replied Drake. First, he poured 5 boxes of baking soda he found in his mom's kitchen pantry down the laundry chute. Hey, screamed Sloan. I felt that. Drake hollered down the chute. Ahoy down there, squeezing your eyes shut is highly recommended. And while Sloan told Drake what he could do with his high recommendations, Drake held a large bucket full of vinegar over the opening. As soon as I finished pouring it in, he said to Nell, you slam the cupboard door shut. Roger that. Drake poured the vinegar down the chute. Hey, shrieked Sloan, you're getting me all wet. Now, cried Drake. Check, exclaimed Nell. Slam. They raced down 2 flights of stairs to the laundry room, and then from inside the chute came a moan. Just try to relax, Miss Westcott, cried Drake. This won't hurt a bit. And a groan. Prepare for blast off, he hollered. 10, 9, 8, and a mumble. 7, 6, and a rumble. 5, 4, plus a grumble. 3, 2, 1. Then the house heaved like a hiccup. Blast off, screamed Nell. And suddenly, in an explosion of bubbles and fizz, out flew Sloan. Whoosh, fizzle, ah, zoom, plop, splat. Sloan landed head first on the enormous pile of clothes. Dirty laundry flew everywhere. Incredible, exclaimed Drake. Remarkable, cried Nell. It was quite spectacular, really. Better than the 4th of July. Both Drake and Nell enjoyed it thoroughly. When Sloan could finally speak, she moaned, Oh, am I alive? Quite so, replied Drake. What day is it? Who am I? Where are we? What happened? What's 2 plus 2? Allow my partner to explain, said Drake, tossing Sloan a clean towel. Miss Fossey. Nell cleared her throat and paced the laundry room. After we observed that you were stuck in the laundry chute, we knew we needed something to blast you out of there. Quite so, added Drake. By adding baking soda, continued Nell. And vinegar, said Drake. We caused a strong chemical reaction. We no longer had baking soda and vinegar. Indeed, no, added Drake. Instead, we created an entirely new substance. Nell stopped pacing and looked quite serious, as good scientists often do. The baking soda and vinegar reacted to form carbon dioxide gas. The pressure of the gas was so great that it blew you completely out of the laundry chute, finished Drake. Ooh, moaned Sloan, holding her head. Thanks, I think. Now climb the mountain of laundry. She handed her business card to Sloan. Take a shower, then go straight to bed. Call us first thing in the morning. That evening, back to the lab, Drake wrote in his lab book. Laundry chute extraction complete. Sloan, friendly for first time, a scientific phenomenon to be studied further. Received 1 month of free cellular phone service, paid in full.